Alright, so I'm going to tell you a little story about what's going on here. Because I got crap everywhere and I can barely walk in here. So, when the quarantine first started, Justin said, Adam, I'd like to have a computer soon because I want to start doing iRacing. I don't have a computer. So I said, alright, well, let me look into what we can do to build you something. And my initial idea was to get maybe a Ryzen system put together, because at the time they were very cost efficient. The price per dollar on the components were extremely of high value. Well, as the quarantine and the virus kept affecting things, the price of computer parts started going up. Well, in the last few weeks we've been helping Justin over at his house remodel his house, and I'd been keeping an eye on Craigslist and LetGo and Facebook Marketplace, because basically I told him, I was like, it's just not the right time to build a computer right now until some of this stuff stabilizes. So I found this full built computer on LetGo for 150 bucks. I messaged the guy says, yeah, it's available right now. So I get some money from Justin. He goes ahead and gives me the money. I found a GTX 1060 for 100 bucks. Went ahead and scooped that up with a quickness, because I looked at the specs for iRacing and realized that it's really not that high spec wise. It's about a 6 or 7 year old spec sheet, but anything with overhead makes sense. So I got with Justin and I said, listen, I'm gonna put you together a computer that'll allow you to start playing iRacing for now. And then in a year or two, once you get used to it and you decide that you want to progress more, and after the quarantine and the virus stuff goes away, we can look into building you a newer computer, and then we can hand anything we get together, maybe down to your sons or something, to have for a little gaming computer. And he agreed. So he gave me a few $100 bucks, and I told him I would do the run around to find the parts and everything. So anyway, I go ahead and I got the 1060, and then when I was waiting to hear about that $150 computer, this come up on LetGo, or no, this was on Facebook Marketplace. It was a Zeus board with a 3770, 12 gigs of RAM, and the dude only wanted 50 bucks for it. So I was like, cool. If it comes down to it, that should be good enough. If the other computer falls through and it's only 50 bucks, if the other computer still is an option, then I'd love to have this for parts in the shop, maybe like a test bench or something, or I could change it out with the 3570K that I have in there, or whatever I want to do. 50 bucks, whatever. Hell, the RAM's worth that on its own, and the processor's worth way more. Anyway, that whole thing for that. When I get to Savannah to meet the guy at the Walmart across from the Savannah Mall, I give him the money, he hands me this, and he says, oh, by the way, do you like playing with computers? And I'm like, yeah, why? What's up? He says, I got a motherboard if you want it. One of the PCI slots on it's messed up. So then he hands me this, and I'm like, alright, I don't know what I'm going to do with the Z270 motherboard, but it's pretty badass. So I bring it home, and I set it to the side thinking that, well, maybe that's something I could use on the channel later. In the meantime, the dude with the $150 computer is like, alright, somebody already picked it up. Sorry, dude. I'm like, oh, great. I happened to get on Craigslist that night, and there was this guy selling for 150 bucks. i5, it said it's 6400, 8 gigs of RAM, and it said that it had a power supply with it. And then I realized that that's the same chipset as this MSI board. So I was like, alright, cool. I messaged him like I'm interested. So this is what I ended up getting with that. It's this little Asus case with this 350 watt power supply. It had this DVD drive in it, one stick of DDR4 8 gig memory, and when I took off the cooler, it was actually an i5 7400. I'm like, cool, that'll work. Well, I hook everything up in here, then I get Justin to go on Amazon to order this, which is a Kingston 240 gig SSD for like 40 bucks. I'm like, hey, that'll work. He says he only plans on putting iRacing on it for right now, so I'm like, that'll work. I put Windows 10 Pro on it, and then that would be enough just to hold the one game. And then if we need to order either another SSD for 40 bucks, or if I need to throw in like a 5 gigabyte Seagate Barracuda or something, no worries. I got storage. We can figure it out. So I hook everything up in here, and it turns on and everything. But for some reason, none of the SATA ports are reading the Kingston. So then I hook another hard drive up to it, and still nothing's being recognized in the BIOS with these. So I was like, all right, well, I got this other motherboard. So I take it out of here, and if you look, I've been working on this. I should have documented as I went. But you can see the little pin sitting up where I just separated them out where they wouldn't touch, where the PCIe slot had come off. But once I separated the pins out and everything, this son of a, and I put this i5 7400 in here, and I ordered another stick of RAM, matching RAM. So there's 16 gigs of DDR4 in here. But I had to order that because all I got is DDR3 sitting around in DDR2. Personally, I don't even have a chipset in any of my personal computers that take DDR4, so that's not something that I've got. But anyway, yeah, so I got 16 gigs. I put everything in this, and the thing boots up perfect and sees the SSD. So I'm like, all right, well, this motherboard's not going to fit in this little Asus computer case. And this 350 watt power supply is not going to be strong enough. So I got a 650 watt here that I'm gonna have to give him. We've got our 1060. This would probably be efficient, but I want to keep airflow to a maximum. So I'm gonna put in a Cooler Master Hyper 212. It's the Evo or Plus, I can't remember. I got a couple of extra ones laying around. And then this is the case we're gonna use. This was one of my first computer cases I had with my main rig in it before I upgraded. It's a little bit older. I think I paid like 75 bucks for this back in like 2010. And I've loved this computer case forever. And I've added some like Corsair fans to it. I've got some red LEDs in it. This fan right here shines blue. It used to have little covers over here, but it's got blue LEDs here that flash for like the hard drive and all that. Ironically, Justin's daughter, when this used to be the case that my wife's computer was in before I upgraded her computer, and I took this one back, I pushed in the little covers for them, and I've lost them over the course of time. So anyway, this thing was dirty. I've been like scrubbing and cleaning it this afternoon. You can see where I got cleaning stuff and damn Q-tips everywhere. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm gonna use this because that MSI board's pretty big. This will give us great airflow. It's got the plexiglass side panel, so you can be able to see into it. And since his main, theme is racing, I figured this looked pretty badass for racing. Oh yeah, she also broke like the top sled for the CD drive. You see it fell off. So I'll put the CD drive that I'm putting in here for him. He's not a power user like us, and I want him to have the ability to have a CD or a DVD drive. The other thing that he gave me money for came with one. So yeah, we're gonna have to negotiate a few more bucks. I mean, these Corsair fans weren't cheap. I got these Cougar fans, which are really, really badass. Next to Noctua fans, I really like these Cougar fans. But I want to make sure, even though the i5 7400, I'm not going to be overclocking it, I just want to make sure it's got clean airflow, it doesn't overheat or anything. And that power supply wasn't going to cut it. But yeah, So this is where I'm at right now. I've actually been putting a lot more work into this than I thought I was going to, between cleaning this case and everything else. So, oh man. So it looks like I've gotten most of the updates. I got to go in through the file system. So we got Windows Pro activated, 16 gigs of RAM with a Core i5 7400 at 3 gigahertz. So far, yeah, so good. I got to make sure I go through and check everything. But this, for me getting this board for free, this 270, this MSI board, it's pretty badass, man. It's got like backlit red LEDs that glow all the way around it, and it's got an NVMe slot right here. If I would have known that we were going to use this board, I might have got him to get an NVMe SSD besides this one, which you know, maybe Christmas time or something, I'll tell his wife that's the way to upgrade this bad boy. No, I'm just excited. I didn't realize that, like, I would have been screwed up if I only would have ended up with this. Didn't make that transaction and got this for free. So I'm actually pretty stoked about that. I know I seem like I'm all over the place. My shop's like destroyed where I was filming stuff while I've been at home, and I've had to put the lights and everything somewhere and haven't broke them all down. So like literally, hey buddy. I've been like all over the place with this build. But yeah, no, this is cool, man. So this board with the red and black aesthetic is gonna look great in that case. I'm kind of excited now. And then I think what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna throw old buddy these Logitech headphones, because he's gonna need headphones. They don't match the computer, but he likes blue. And the air cups are a little dirty, but I bought these new, so I mean, it's Justin. Me and him share life together. He's my best friend, so I don't think it's that weird if he was to use them after me. I probably fed those in there for him so he has one. What the heck? What are you doing? It's my silly children. Alright, so it says that it's all the way updated. I think I had to stick with 1909 on it. Let's see. Windows 10 Pro 1909. Yeah. So we're fully up to date with Windows right now, which is awesome. So I just need to make sure that we have all the drivers. It says we do. So yeah, I might have to go to the web page for the MSI Z270 board, and I'll go ahead and make sure all the chipset drivers and the BIOS is up to date. And I'm gonna get Cooler Master put on here, and then we will come back whenever we have it in the case, and I will show y'all what it looks like in its beautiful glory.
A few moments later.
Well, we just upgraded it to Windows version 2004. It popped up after I got everything in the case, so we are fully up to date with the new version of Windows. So I still got a few things I need to do to get it ready to take over, but now I'm willing to show off the PC. hope you enjoyed this little video explaining the story of the quarantine hustle to build a budget iRacing PC. We definitely stayed within the budget that we talked about. Maybe just a few bucks a little more than expected, but it's still less than what we were originally planning. So I'm gonna tighten up the software, go in, turn some of the Windows 10 features off that he doesn't need, turn some of the telemetry crap off, go through and clean up the registry and make sure that everything's ready to go. So this is another completed build, and I hope Uncle Justin enjoys it. This is his Father's Day gift. I do believe he'll like it. If you haven't already and you made it this far, please consider hitting the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing for more videos coming up. I still do have to turn this HP workstation into a server. I got the Xeon processor up here still waiting. That's something I haven't gotten done. I've got a few more videos that I'm planning on shooting soon, so there will be more content. I guess we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, everybody.